I think Dr. Devi Shetty's Rasagola experiment, example that he brought in, saying that this is what it takes to transport Rasagola from Calcutta all the way to be delivered in his house, is, I thought, a fairly worthless exercise, this entire e-commerce. Because if you want to have Rasagola, just go to Calcutta and enjoy it in the place where it's made. That is localization, and anything that is going towards scale is, making this a whole lot of worthless investments in the value chain compared to the basic stuff that is there. So entrepreneurship, or how do you come out of unemployment, is localized enterprise. And that's something that Ilaben, in her book, Anubandh, has sort of very clearly identified. She says there is a test that you can do about which of these commodities are coming from within a 100-mile radius. If you're looking at that, then you'll see a lot of local enterprises flourishing and much more of centralized enterprises. There is a need for centralized enterprises for certain sectors, but I don't think we need, Mekalu tikkis to be made in a centralized kitchen and distributed all across the world. And so therefore, I'll go back to what my Prime Minister said, saying that, it's better to fry pakoras than to be unemployed. We have the biggest brand ambassador for this from our country itself. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Can I just follow up with a question? Because I know that you have an expertise in public policy as well, and you've written on India and the new liberal India, etc. Do you think public policy has a role in creating a supportive environment for social business? Do you think public policy has a role in supporting?
Yeah, of course there is scope for policy in creating, but this policy is not about enterprise. It's a larger policy of how we manage the economy and what is it that we sort of encourage and what is it that we don't. I'll give you one example. We get buttermilk, lassi from Anand all the way in Tetra Pak. The worth of the water there is much lesser than the packaging and the transportation cost. And this was something that was given away free in the villages a long time back. I was reading the Danone Grameen case, and I was so amazed to find that the biggest challenge for the engineer was to create a very small plant, which is a localized plant. And I think that's where our solutions are, on how not to scale certain parts of the economy.
That's great. Thank you very much for that. I'm going to turn next to Parveen Mahmood from Grameen Telecom Trust. You're an accountant, and you're a very prominent accountant. The first, I was reading that you're first council member and the first president of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Bangladesh, which is an amazing achievement. Can I just ask you to give your opinions on what the role, perhaps, of your own role and indeed of the accounting profession, perhaps, in addressing unemployment?
Thank you. Well, that's my profession. I'm a chartered accountant and in the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Bangladesh. So I became the first female president, and before that I was a council member. And it's my passion to be in the development sector. It's my choice. And I think my professional background helps me to focus in the governance part, because transparency and reporting, this is also vital in the development sector. And I think that's an advantage with my professional background. And as a Grameen Telecom Trust Managing Director, Grameen Telecom Trust has many diversified programs, and one signature flagship program is our Novin Udyokta youth. It's the mainly youth entrepreneurship development program for the new entrepreneurs, and it's for the next generation of Grameen Bank family, Grameen Bank borrowers' children, and from 2013 we have introduced this program. Professor Muhammad Yunus, he has given us a vision with the thought that the young youth. They won't be a job seeker, they should be a job giver. So that is our main inspiring quote behind this program. And we 4 companies, besides Grameen Telecom Trust was a pioneer, but 3 others companies, and later on in the panels, everybody is here, so they can speak on that. But mainly, the age group for our clients are from 18 to 35 years for the boys. And for females, we encourage female empowerment, so for there's no age limit. And also now to encourage females, the daughter-in-laws even of the Grameen Bank borrowers, they can be in the program. And we are helping them, and it's a new concept and it's a new product. Like microcredit give an option for poverty alleviation is a global tool, and through social business and through equity participation, this Nobin Udokta program is also another choice, another option. It's a tool, and already because our program is, though it's a new program, but it's almost in some of the units, our field, which is already operating for 3 years, is sustainable. So it's an emerging tool also for poverty alleviation and to encourage entrepreneurship development. And especially creation of fund, that is always a main challenge. So sustainability part also shows that it's a new option, people has choice. And this program is also now replicated in some of the countries. I think in Kosovo it's already replicated, and many of the others, they are visiting us, they're thinking. And because it's working, the theory works, and methodology works. So this is so my view is because for Grameen Telecom Trust and the investors, this is a social business. But for those whom we are providing services, they have the option. It's the conventional business for them. So even for this replication model can be replicated elsewhere. And it's a very good model where we can say that we make a living what we get, but we make a life but what we give. So it's a very good, I will say, chance to make a good choice, to bring difference in life of people who doesn't have that much of advantage, and they can make a meaningful life.
That's terrific. Thank you very much. I'm going to turn to Chetna Galasinha from the Mandeshi Foundation in India. Now, you run a women's empowerment program, and you have done for many years. Could you please provide your experiences, particularly from the rural dimension, because I know that's your particular expertise? That'd be very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for giving me an opportunity here to share my experiences. So I have started a Mandeshi Bank, which is dedicated to rural women. And I will just share a story of one of our women who is an entrepreneur and who has started a business, and how is she dealing with finance? How is she dealing with capital? So this is Rupali. Rupali has a business she makes musical equipment. She makes drums and all. In her business, she requires leather, she requires wood, and she makes those drums and sell it in market outside also, like in other state. And so she has 10 women she has employed for that business. She has trained them how to make the drums. And I mean, she's expert on that. So when I visited her and I saw her that she's running this business, and she has, so I was just asking her that, what is your turnover and all that? And she said that in a week, I make 15,000 drums. And I was amazed. I mean, it's not a factory. It is just a small unit where she has a 10 employee. And still she's doing that. And then I said, how do you manage? How do you give salary to your staff? How do you get the raw material? How do you get the capital? And she smiled at me and she said that I have a loan from the Mandeshi Bank. And then she said that I managed to get my capital from, machinery from there. And then my cash flows, I do have some amount which I have saved with Mandeshi Bank. And then she says, but still in emergency I require, so I mortgage my gold and take loan. And then when I asked her, okay, and then sometimes like in a slack season or your employee needs something, and what bothers you? You know what she said? Rupali said that the thing which bothers me is that my employee, I should be able to give them salary in time. And if anybody is sick in their family, they should not have to go, some should not die in their family. So then I said that at that time, what you do? And then she said that, and when there is no source available, I go to moneylender and take money from there. And then I was like, what bothers Rupali is not a moneylender, but our employee should get money in time. So then I was like, how can you manage, Rupali, everything? You know what reply she said? She said, my courage is my capital. Rupali said that my courage is my capital. I feel that people, those who have capital, why shouldn't they have a courage to invest in Rupali? And that's how actually Rupali taught me that, this is a lady who is an entrepreneur, providing jobs to 10 women with so much of security, but her bother is her employees. And she's very clear. And she's using digital, she's using all forms of finance. But what is the gap I see here is that mainstream finance is not that innovative the way Rupali is innovative. And that's why we started this social impact fund for entrepreneurs like Rupali, which we launched at Davos, which will give the funds to these entrepreneurs so they don't have to go to moneylenders, they don't have to go to high-cost capital. And that's how I think that if we want, in India we had a global entrepreneurship summit, and it's a shame to say that only 5% of women own business in India, just 5%. But if you see in rural India, all of women are working. Why they don't own that? So I think these are the challenges which mainstream sectors should address, should innovate their capital. And it would be great, something like, Social Business School, we work with on that. But I would say that, Professor,